As I said, we've got MediaWatch, and for that I'm joined by James Creedon.
Evening,
Hello.
Annette.
Now, you've been looking at online reaction to the decision to award the Nobel Peace Prize to somebody, or rather an organisation which came out of the blue. I'm talking about, of course, the OPCW, the Chemicals Weapons Watchdog.
That's right, and indeed a lot of people complimenting that decision online because of the fact that it was such an opaque, little-known organisation in terms of its international profile, and that it has firmly put the spotlight on the OPCW for the work that they've been doing over the last many years, gathering signatures of 190 countries for the Chemical Weapons Convention, very much behind the scenes work, and also dangerous work in terms of going into Syria, for example, to dismantle chemical weapons. So that's by way of the positive reaction online, and there is a certain amount of that. For example, Amnesty International commenting on their website and on social media that the OPCW is a worthy winner. Rue 89, a centre-left website, news website here in France, Pierre Aski, who is one of their founding journalists and editors, says that this is a very worthy Nobel Peace Prize winner. And indeed saying that the media's choice really was Malala, that 16-year-old Pakistani girl who has stood up to the Taliban, indeed, and was shot in the head by the Taliban, and has become basically a figurehead for women's education in Pakistan and standing up to the Taliban. Pierre Aski's point, just to underline that, is that she was the media's choice, in fact, and that the OPCW is perhaps a more worthy candidate. That's his point of view. And just to illustrate how much she is the darling of the media around the world, really, she appeared earlier this week on the Jon Stewart on The Daily Show in the US, and she responded to a question about how she would react to the Taliban coming to her home. And it shows, I think, the bravery of the girl. Let's take a listen to this.
But then I said, if you hit a Talib with your shoe, then there would be no difference between you and that Talib. You must not treat others that much with cruelty and that much harshly. You must fight others, but through peace and through dialogue and through education. Then I said, I'll tell him how important education is, and that I even want education for your children as well. And I'll tell him, that's what I want to tell you. Now do what you want.
So remarkable bravery, really, for a 16-year-old girl, and everybody was rooting for her. She was the favourite in it.
Absolutely, but despite this young Pakistani woman being the favourite, there are some who are happy that she didn't win for a variety of reasons.
Right, and chief amongst them, Annette, being the Pakistani Taliban, would you believe it? And they
Quelle surprise.
It's very good news. Malala didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, they're being quoted as saying by various media. And indeed, she herself was very magnanimous in defeat. She tweeted earlier today from her fund, of course, because she set up a fund to draw attention to the issue, to the plight of girls and female education in general. Congratulations to the OPCW. Now, somebody else who was happy that she didn't win is this person who, rather tongue-in-cheek, said on Twitter, I really hope Malala never gets the Nobel Prize. She does not deserve such a discredited award. And this is, I suppose, bringing us to the point that a lot of people are making online, that the Nobel Prize has made controversial, I suppose, choices in the last number of years, and that perhaps it's lost some of its credibility. And indeed, this person, I suppose, was being a bit tongue-in-cheek, saying just as well she didn't get it. Now, the Nobel Prize committee responded on Twitter to those criticisms, saying, that this is too political a decision, saying, look, it wasn't because of Syria that the Nobel Peace Prize went to the OPCW. It was basically because of the long-standing, behind-the-scenes work of the OPCW over the years.
Now, some have been looking back at controversial Nobel Prizes in the past, haven't they, James?
That's right. The week here is just one of several media going back over controversial awards. We mentioned, I'm not sure if we did, Barack Obama, going back to 2009, I suppose the chief...
That's a very controversial choice for some.
He's the head of the armed forces in the US, so I think that many would say that that's just a basic incompatibility with the Peace Prize. The European Union as an organisation, a massive organisation winning the prize last year, others thought that that was not a very personal choice. Again, another organisation winning it this year. This article here pointing out that Yasser Arafat and Yitzhak Rabin won it in 1994, and their first sentence under that particular choice was, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. So these were decisions that didn't basically unify the public behind them. They were quite, I suppose, divisive.
Now, very quickly, you're going to tell us exactly how the Nobel Committee informed the OPCW that it actually had won.
Right, very much appropriate to this segment, Annette. It was via Twitter, and they were trying to contact the OPCW all morning. Perhaps there was no one manning or womaning the phones. Personing the phones. OPCW, please contact us at Nobel Prize _.
They're too busy out there doing their job, James.
Well, that's hopefully the reason why they didn't respond. And if you scroll down a little further, apparently they had the same problem the previous day with Alice Munro for the Literature Prize.
Apparently they had to ring her daughter or something.
So there you go. Clearly these people are far too busy to care about prizes or organisations.
I think they're keeping it all in perspective. James Creedon with
Thanks,
MediaWatch. Thank you. And do stay with us because I'll be back after a short break. But just to bring you some breaking news that apparently 27 people have died as a result of that boat capsizing off the coast of Lampedusa. We'll have more details on that story and on others after this short break. Stay with us here on France 24.
.30 Paris time.
Les équipements qui exportent le pétrole.
Reste à savoir maintenant.
It's a very entertaining film.
Finished ahead of the team.
Audio d'ailleurs, ça
Before he is dispatching him.
Nous avions très peu de trains.
At the end of the speech, there was
Les élections ont des positions
journée historique.
La cathédrale en elle-même.
Libyenne à l'armée régulière libyenne.